Hello, welcome to the Sermon Podcasting Mini Course, Lesson 6. We're going to talk about submitting your feed. We're going to talk about where to submit it and how to submit it. Okay, before we start talking about submitting your feed, there's a couple things you should understand. One is, this isn't totally necessary. All submitting your feed does is get you listed in a library like iTunes or Stitcher. Even if you're not listed in these libraries, people can still come to your website and listen to your podcast. They can actually even subscribe to your podcast using iTunes and any other podcasting app by using your RSS feed that's created for you. All submitting to a library really does is allows you to be found in that library by a search and makes it easier for your listeners to subscribe. So understanding that, let's talk about the libraries that are out there. The main ones are iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, and Spotify. Obviously, iTunes is the main one there. And that's what we're going to go through on how to submit to iTunes today. So let's get started on that. So I'm going to go to podcastconnect.apple.com, and that'll take me to a sign-in page. And then you sign in. If you don't have an Apple ID, you have to create one. Okay, so that takes you into your terms of service. You got to accept that. And then you get into Podcast Connect. So now I'm in Podcast Connect, and you can see I already have one here, and I'll show you how that worked. But we're going to submit another one right now. So if you hit Add, it just asks you for a URL. So this URL it's asking for is, as it shows here, the RSS feed. Remember in the last lesson we talked about that. So now you have to go and get your RSS feed. And there's a few different ways to do that. If you're a Closer Sharing user, when you log in, you'll be brought to your sermons page. What you need to do is go down to Account and expand that and click on Account. It'll pull me up to the account settings. So if you look right here, there's the RSS feed path. So you can just right click on that and hit copy link location. So that put that on your clipboard, and now you can get back over here onto the iTunes Connect and paste that in. Okay. So let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to validate that. You wait a little bit and it reads this feed and makes sure everything is good with it. And it's prepared for submission. So this is the Closer Sharing feed, and as you can see, it's all iTunes compatible. Now, once you're ready to submit, you just hit Submit. Podcast is successfully submitted for review. So they will review these, and then they'll send you an email. And I'll show you what that looks like. So once you get that email, and it's here's the one for my church, and it says it's iTunes Store Podcast Approved notification. So what they do is they send you, and it says your feed located at this feed address here, which is the feed address I submitted, has been approved, and it's now there's an iTunes Store address of this right here. Let me click on that and you'll see what it looks like. So now in iTunes, I am listed as New Horizon Fellowship, and it has our graphic there, and that graphic is what I uploaded here in Closer Sharing as this share image, and all the information comes through, and we're ready for people to subscribe to it and find it in the search results. So that is how you submit to iTunes. So I told you I'd show you another way of finding that RSS feed address. So the way that you do that is navigate to the page that has your sermon listing on it. And what you want to do is look for a subscribe button. This page here actually is created by Closer Sharing's feed widget. And if you look up at the top here, there is a RSS feed subscribe button. So if I click on that, you'll see that it takes me to that feed address. And this is the feed that you would want to submit. So that's an alternate way to find your feed if you don't have a Closer Sharing account. So all these others will have a similar process, and you just submit them and you'll go through an approval process and you'll get approved and you'll be listed. Do you need to do this? Not necessarily. Is it nice? Yeah, it is nice for users that use iTunes or Google Play or Spotify. They can just subscribe right there in their app. So it makes it easy on some of your listeners. So this is the end of the course. Hopefully by now you know how to get your podcast recorded, sounding good, and online and listed in libraries. If you have any questions about any of this, don't hesitate to email me at dan@closersharing.com, and I'll be happy to try to help you out. Thank you.